I do. And we're live once again. It's our third episode of our Midcard podcast. We weren't able to get to it last week, but that's all right. It's been a little bit slow
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, same wrestlers.
Yeah, same shit, different
right
week.
now.
But things are getting a little bit more exciting. Things are pumping up. We've got the draft just started last night. Things are getting mixed up, and we got Backlash next weekend. Huh?
Yep.
I think said hope, and I was like, what?
Yeah, they're just gonna cancel it.
Something I don't. And then after that, after Backlash, after the draft, things are going to kind of like be a reset in a way, and hopefully things will get better from there. So, I guess we can, let's real quick, let's take a look at the Raw card, see if there's anything that really sticks out. Okay, this is actually just a video, so that doesn't help me at all. Bad Bunny returned. Mysterio versus Damian Priest. Triple H to appear to make a huge announcement.
The belt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The new belt, which is actually, that's a big topic for discussion. So that'll take us a little bit of time there. We're not going to do like a full breakdown really because again, nothing really sticks out.
It's same.
Just
things.
another LWO versus Judgment Day. Great. And then, whatever. Not that it was bad necessarily, but nothing really noteworthy except for the belt.
Yep.
So it's the World Heavyweight Championship belt, right? Like that's what it's called. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, yeah. And because they didn't attach a Raw or SmackDown label to it because it was going to go to whatever brand Roman Reigns did not get drafted to, which we know now is SmackDown, right? Because Raw got Roman Reigns, right? Yeah. So
no. I mean, Roman is on.
Oh, right. Okay, Roman's on SmackDown. So Raw. That's right. Raw
will be getting the title.
Mm-hmm. So, which some people were saying online, it feels like a consolation prize.
Yeah, it does kind of feel that way. Mixed feelings on it, right? Like, yeah. I mean, good.
It's good, especially if they stick to their word and say it's going to be like a fighting champion's belt, right? Not like Roman Reigns, who hasn't wrestled since
but then
WrestleMania.
SmackDown, right? I think actually pulls in more viewers
really?
because it's on Fox. So you're giving Roman to SmackDown, and then anyone on SmackDown now really who's going to be there to challenge Roman, and obviously we'll talk about the picks later.
Yeah.
Maybe we have some chicks interested in this too. But it's kind of, it does feel a little bit like consolation prize, but it'll at least add some more excitement. And Raw is a 3-hour show. So night after night, week after week, having a 3-hour show where almost nothing happens.
That's rough. Yeah, that also is probably planned. They probably did intentionally. We're going to make a new belt that's going to have a lot more title challenges, and we're going to put it on our 3-hour show.
Yeah, and then,
So, but although again, it still feels like a consolation prize, and especially now that we know that Cody Rhodes is drafted to the opposite brand, which is rough. I was very shocked. That was, I think, more shocked than I expected to feel during the draft.
Yeah, and it's are they just gonna discontinue that feud, or
there's
are they just
no
gonna let
way
it diffuse?
There's no way.
Everyone was picturing them fighting at SummerSlam, right, and kind of building up to it, and now. Who knows, right? It leaves a lot open to, some possibilities.
That's like, sorry, my eyes are going crazy right now.
So tense.
I know. So I saw one theory about this was that, and people did not like this theory, even the person who put it out there, was that you'd have Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble again, and then you'd have him defecting to SmackDown again, or defecting to SmackDown. I don't know if that's again or not. And then they would have him beat Roman for the titles at WrestleMania next year. And I'm just like, they're going to have Roman be the champion for over 1,200 days.
And it would be silly of them to
like a repeat too,
giving Cody the belt for Raw and letting him, get into a new feud or whatever.
But at the same time, if they give Cody that belt before Roman goes down, it feels so bad. It feels so bad to just say, sorry, kid, you couldn't get Roman's belt. Have this one instead. That's rough, man. So I hope they don't do that. Honest to God, and not because I dislike Cody Rhodes in any way, I hope he does not be made the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. I think that would be a mistake, and I think that they know that. I don't think they will do that.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to handle this. And, there's a lot of other talent that deserve to have a title. And, it's, you don't want to then build both Roman and Cody and then have them have a continued long reign. But then another long reign, right? Like, I miss kind of when the title would change hands. A lot.
Everyone does.
You win it back, right? Like, and it added some good feuds. It added a lot of tension, and it gave other people a chance to, have the belt be in the spotlight.
Yeah. But, I know during the SmackDown Lowdown that we watched earlier today, the guy mentioned, I don't know who either of those two guys are, but because we've never watched that before.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a thing.
But one of them mentioned Gunther and Cody Rhodes feuding over the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
It's like, you're really going to have him go from main eventing WrestleMania against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship to going for a mid-card title?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Not to shit on Gunther or
no,
title,
not at all.
It's a much needed title because you need to to have, you always are going to have mid-carders, right? And you want to have a strong mid-card.
Yeah.
That way they can go up and stuff like that. But it just seems
the only
silly.
criticism is of the idea that Cody would go from the pinnacle of WWE wrestling to that in such a short amount of time would be a mistake. It would be, and it would not only be a mistake. I mean, how do you look at that any other way than doing Cody dirty?
Yeah,
honestly.
So hopefully those people are just talking out of their asses, and they don't plan on doing that. We don't need Cody to work his way back up. That's kind of silly. So,
let's see. Is there anything? So let's...
we had Braun with a botch.
Oh,
he
man!
Definitely had a concussion, so he
supposedly
was supposed to pick up Ricochet and toss him at the Viking Raiders. It looks like Ricochet caught him on the way up and potentially concussed Braun. He then missed through Ricochet, had a weird spot because then he just decided to go over and punch or slap one of them. I can't even remember exactly what happened.
It was weird.
They looked confused. Then as Braun was going back over the ropes, he hit his head into the ring post and just fell.
It was
so
weird.
It was no surprise to see a bunch of people coming out and saying that, but then he showed up to wrestle on SmackDown last night.
Yeah, he was there last night and he did okay.
But he did take a leg to the head.
At the end,
people don't really typically recover from concussions that quickly. Yeah. I thought maybe he would just be in the match to be safe. They did make a joke about the botch, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he's like, I got you. So I don't see, and I said the WWE isn't historically bad about concussions, right? Or let me rephrase. Recent history. Obviously not going back. I mean, there were obviously times where they didn't even know that kind of shit. But they've been pretty strict about that kind of stuff lately.
I would think they would take it a lot more seriously due to CTE and things like that.
So I would imagine, so where did you hear that he had gotten a concussion?
It was multiple news sources all over, and it.
But we also saw somebody tweeting out that Thea Hale had gotten an injury and she was like, no, I'm fucking fine.
And also that Asuka asked for her release and then Asuka called them out. That was this morning.
Yeah, that happened, which is great. So it's I don't know. It's so hard to believe a lot of these people. That's why we don't want to be, I don't want us to be news people because we're going to be wrong 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Because who?
Insiders.
Yeah, we don't have any insiders ourselves, and anything I have inside information for. The best inside information source that I have hedges almost every bet that they put by saying, this is always subject to change. Here's what we're hearing right now. And it's very vague and stuff, which is great. I still appreciate it because it's interesting to have that kind of look into it. But I'm not going to come out here and say that I'm going to be a source of information for people. I'm here to just talk about what I like. But... So who knows? So supposedly he had a concussion, but he did wrestle 4 days later. So
yeah,
who knows? And he seemed okay.
Yeah, just hopefully he was fine. Yeah. Hopefully he was cleared.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something very minor, or it was thought to be a concussion, but it wasn't ever verified, right?
Yeah.
So.
We got to talk about your fantasy bookie you came up with of Braun and Ricochet versus those two guys from the OC.
Oh yeah,
who I thought when I saw the picture were Braun and Ricochet.
They do look very identical. So this 100% joke. Them feuding, but then people starting to confuse them with each other and
that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, but they do look oddly.
Yeah, there is some similarity. There's also some similarities between Braun and Ricochet as well. They like literally Ricochet just looks like mini Braun.
Yeah, or like Braun is Ricochet on
well,
on gear.
That's too real. So but yeah, okay, so that was Raw. Let's see anything.
Yeah, I don't think anything.
The draft begins.
Really exciting happened.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's the draft. So we'll go to NXT first.
Yeah, so we had
Spring Breakin'. That was fun.
Yes.
We had the first ever trunk match.
Yes, which
you were sad because you wanted Pretty Deadly to win. And they almost did. It looked like they were going to pull it off, but then at the last minute, what do they even call them? The family. The family pulled it off.
Yeah, and they hurt the water table, so
Yeah,
upset about the water table. There's a nice little table in the back set up with water conveniently.
Yep.
That somebody got power through. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
And just kind of went downhill from there. So they did get dropped off and sleeping with the fishes now. So they probably, we didn't see them get drafted. I think they're all right.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. The idea you heard a rumor. It's a rumor that there was, what was it?
The twosome group.
The gruesome
twosome. Yeah. No.
So what was it that you saw though?
Somebody claims they saw it get trademarked.
Okay, the gruesome twosome. So some people think that Pretty Deadly may be reincarnated.
You just called them Pretty Dead, okay? Like, why do we have to make it? Why? Like, don't ruin their, pretty boy, yes boy. Like, they have a good thing going. I want to see it on the main roster. Because there's two possibilities, right? They start a feud with the Maxim male models.
Yeah.
Or they partner with Seth Rollins or have some kind of feud with Seth Rollins. It's just like Seth will need another partner, and he is more geared towards singles anyway at the time. But there's some possibilities there, and I don't want that to get ruined. Unless their feud is because they used to be nice, pretty male model-esque type people, and now they're dead, right? Like, or whatever. It's just like, don't make them look like a zombie. Don't ruin. I'm concerned. So we didn't see them get drafted or anything yet, so they're still up in the air. But I'm hoping that they keep the Pretty Deadly. A lot of people are questioning if it can work on the main roster. I saw some people like, this can't happen, but I think they do a good job. They do a great job with the heel, putting back the table, their little, switcheroo in the ring, right? Like, so I'd like to see them at least try it.
Yeah, no, they could be good. I think that they could be good. I hope that they do. Yeah. So after that, there was Braun Breaker versus Andre Chase, which was fine.
Yeah, I thought
Braun Breaker won.
Really and it was very quick, which again, not surprising either. I just kind of felt they left it really short with Braun being a heel. Like, he didn't do anything heel but
look, he did later though.
Yes, and so it got made up later. Made some little girl's night, although I think she was scared that Braun was going to spear her.
He was next.
But he took out what's his face? Oh my god. I'm blanking.
It wasn't. After the match, Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, there we go.
He speared Carmelo Hayes through the wall.
I could not even think of his name for the life of me.
Yeah.
Yes. Through a wall. Trap door.
Yeah. That was cool.
Which, that match, right? Really good match.
Yep.
But it looked like Grayson Waller got injured.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so it looks like they had to call the match a little bit quicker than they were anticipating. I saw the ref go over him, and I did see him say something like that he wasn't okay, and they had to end the match. But I think that seemed to be how the match was going to end anyway.
Right. They didn't change the ending. They just shortened the match. Right.
And then Braun Breaker came out to end Carmelo Hayes.
He really speared him too. That was a crazy spear, and that little girl was.
Her life was made.
Let's see, is it in this picture? Yeah, there it is. All right, hold on. Let me. The picture's not getting any. That's fine.
Close in.
The highlights really quick.
There she is.
Yeah, so she was loving it.
She was so shocked. So that was pretty entertaining, right? Didn't really see it coming because I kind of felt like, because Braun had just
his match was over, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah, and I was just, and I had said like, it didn't really seem very like heel of him, right? Like he's just kind of like, all right, Mr. Chase, you're done. Braun, here's my weird like cut tank top thing. He's wearing black, so now we know he's.
So he's a heel.
But so that was good.
I mean, no Thea Hale, so
yes,
I can't even really say I cared.
She was stuck doing like math homework or something. Yeah. Oh, she was injured.
No,
injured by
the math homework.
So someone's trying to blame one of their conditioning.
Yeah, the strength and conditioning coach was put to blame for all the injuries.
Yeah.
I saw one weird person who was like, "Can you confirm that the heavy lifting has become a major part of the training for blah 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 blah?" And people were like, "Bro, what? Who cares if it is? First of all, also, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I mean, they probably do a mix of strength training and then functional training because they're athletes. So, like, who cares?
He gave off weird vibes. I don't know, but
maybe he's trying to be a wrestler and he's trying to figure out what they're doing. Maybe. I will say they have a great roster on NXT. So
they do. It's stacked.
Either he was from AEW or Impact Wrestling trying to get some like insight, or he's just maybe trying to be a wrestler on his own, just trying to get some tips.
Yeah, it's possible.
Then we had
so there was the Carmelo Hayes and the JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, not JD McDonough.
Carmelo Hayes retained.
Yep.
Grayson unfortunately injured.
Yeah. And then after that, it was the Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley versus Kiana James and Brooks Jensen, which I think I liked the way that match went.
Yeah, it was a really good match.
Good match.
Lot of back and forth, and obviously, they've built up to this, so they gave us like little soap opera recap, which I really liked because obviously we came in real late.
Yeah,
we caught on to obviously what was going on, but you got a nice little recap. It definitely felt like a little soap opera.
Yeah.
Then we come out to the match. I think they did a great job back and forth, incorporating both, the men and the women in the match, giving everyone kind of time to shine. And then it really did look like Brooks was gonna win.
Yeah.
And then he screwed something up, messed up Kiana. She was a little pissed. He lost the match and she was about to slap him. And he kind of was calling her out, and then she said, "I never loved you."
Yeah.
We saw a man's heartbreak right on TV.
Yeah, and then he went back and his friends were still there for him. The good people,
the bros,
the salt of the earth folk,
bros before
my kind of people. So that was good.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
Even though I don't want him to go back to being
redneck
mullet post Malone.
I mean, he looked worse.
He somehow did look worse with the tied back ponytail. And it's not because he's an ugly guy. Yeah. Just his style is tragic. It's bad. Like, I'm sorry, but just please, whoever's in charge of that, someone tell him to shave the mustache. That will help.
Keanu was telling him it looks great. Maybe now he'll shave it and get a new look. So.
I'm sad that we didn't see Sebastian.
Oh yeah, there was a sign.
There was a sign. I'm here for Sebastian.
We thought maybe he would interfere. We'd finally find out who Sebastian is, and
the man that she was cheating on him with.
Kiana away, and
now that would have been a great way to debut a wrestler.
Well, we still have time. We could come on the next episode of NXT.
That's true. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and then we had the new guy Obafemi versus Oro Mensah, and
Obasapien.
It was a job. He took the guy out easy.
His little vignette was like him throwing furniture, and I get like he used to be a shot put athlete, but clearly was made to make him look strong. But I would have put him up against someone like closer to his size to make him look real strong. Yeah. So, I mean, he's gonna mop the floor with some guy who's not as big as him.
Yeah.
It was over in 2 minutes.
We're just waiting. Yeah, it was something like that. I would love to. I'm just waiting for Vince to call him up to be Omos's one and only challenger.
Or he's gonna pair them together, and then it's just gonna be the worst.
Nah, it'd be a 40-minute match of the two of them fighting, with Omos, of course, winning in the end.
It's just them hitting into each other, but no one falling down. They just keep running into each other.
They just walk into each other. Then we had the final match: Indy Hartwell versus Roxanne Perez versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yes, which was a
good
match. Unfortunately, again, Indy got injured.
Yeah.
And at first, it was tough to figure out if it was real
or a job,
or they were just working the audience there. After a bit, they took her off. The medical people came out, took a look at her. She was gone pretty quickly. And you could tell that Tiffany and Roxanne were told to improvise.
Yeah.
Got a little sloppy.
Yeah, the match got a little sloppy.
Not their fault, right? Like, obviously, they're probably worried about what happened, and now they've got to figure something out, and they're main eventing, right? So it's a big deal. And I believe Tiffany was told that she was going to win. So she is in spot, pinning Roxanne, and suddenly she has to pivot, which was awkward. But then we saw Indy come back out limping. So again, people started going, oh, it must be fake. She must be completely, like, that was just part of the match. Whatever, add some excitement. So Indy comes in. She winds up winning and retaining. And then next day we find out that she actually really is injured. And we saw her at the draft party. She had a boot on.
Yeah, like a boot.
So, props to her for coming back out and saying she wants to finish the match.
Yeah.
Obviously when you're told you're losing the belt, she's now injured and she has to give up her belt. She probably didn't really sit well with her. I'm sure she respects Tiffany and all of that too, but to give up your title, would probably feel pretty shitty. And so it looked like she said, I could go back out. She was limping. She was hobbling. She couldn't even put a lot of pressure on her legs. So props to her for finishing the match.
Yeah.
But it did lead to a little bit of an awkward
ending and
match. And so, but that's no one's fault.
Yeah. Although, funny enough, I wonder if she would have changed her mind if she knew that she was going to get drafted 3 days later.
Yeah, and she probably maybe would have. I don't know. Maybe she still would have wanted the title. Like, it's still important. She didn't have it for very long.
Yeah.
And there was the whole thing about her being a beatable champion, which it just never sat right with me. I just felt bad, especially for somebody who's drafted now to go to the main roster. Like, you're putting her as like this beatable champion, but that might be to lead her in as an underdog on
she's gonna be
so
she's got hard underdog vibes. Yeah, no question there. So oops, I don't want that. This
Smacky Down.
SmackDown,
night one of the draft.
So I mean, we didn't have a lot of matches. We only had like 3 matches, I think, including the main event.
I think so. I don't even remember.
But so the first pick of the draft, let's take a look there first. So Shocker, SmackDown got to go first. Overall pick was The Bloodline, which only includes Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman.
Yes. So I had noticed that the Usos were not available until the second night. And also, some stables were available all together, so you could draft them all together. Some were available separately. And so I had a feeling they were going to do something to shake up the Bloodline, and that caught my eye and obviously everyone else's eye who took a look at the who was available. So interesting choice there, right? Like, seems to be leading to where the Bloodline is heading as far as the story.
Yeah.
And then having Roman now on SmackDown, where who knows who's gonna get those belts off him?
Because second round draft pick was by Raw for Cody Rhodes. Yeah. So right off the bat, they're 2 different brands. Like I said, that was shocking.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. We already talked about that. So then third pick of the first round. If I'm being accurate here, third pick of the first round. SmackDown picked Bianca Belair.
Yep. So she's going from Raw.
And she is the current Raw Women's Champion, and she's going to SmackDown. So interesting to see how that goes.
So either they're going to strip the name from the title, or they're going to do the weird exchange thing.
Well, she's claiming I'm going to be going into SmackDown as your SmackDown Women's Champion. That's what she said in her little segment.
Yeah, I mean,
but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what
they actually do. Because they could do a They could either do a handoff. They could strip the titles, or the brand names from the titles. But we don't know yet. Fourth pick of the first round by Raw for Becky Lynch. So that's
hopefully
great.
Seth Rollins then goes to Raw.
Can you imagine? So then we get into the second round. We're just going to go through, because there was a break, but we'll just go ahead and go through these all. SmackDown picked the Street Profits, which
they were just endlessly, when they had their match, was just like, they could be separated. They could be separated in the draft. They could be separated in the draft. And everyone's talking about, some solo stuff for, I think it was Dawkins, actually, but also Montez deserves some singles time as well. So it really just seemed like, they were just kind of giving a little clue, a hint there that they're gonna get. No, they're drafting.
I made a call. I made sure my boys stayed together.
Yes.
Street profits, baby.
And also just SmackDown was drafting almost every freaking stable all together when they are the 2-hour show, so it got really uneven last night, and I feel like they tried to even it out by giving Raw more picks for this morning. So
yeah,
very funny.
So 6th pick overall, Raw picked Imperium. So they got Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser.
Which now separates them from, I think her name's Samantha, is the announcer that does the...
Yeah.
Gunther!
She's great, man. She's an incredible announcer. Yeah. She takes her job seriously, but in the sense of she seriously wants everyone to enjoy what she does. Yes. And we do. Everyone loves that.
It's flair, right? It's their character, and she makes
she's
that.
Great. She's absolutely great. Yeah, she is. She's the bomb. I love her. Next up was picked by SmackDown. SmackDown picked Edge.
Yep, so he's returning back to
which
SmackDown,
is good.
Which is basically his start. He helped build that brand. I was shocked because I know he's a part-timer, but I also thought he was still dealing with some injuries and some potential of not returning for a while. So I don't know what they plan on doing with that. Right? It just seemed, obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, right? You're going to want to pick him high, but I'm just curious what's going on there, but he's now going to be on SmackDown.
Yeah. 8th pick by Raw, Matt Riddle.
Which RVD announced, as soon as they saw that he was one of the guest announcers, everyone's like, he's got to say Matt Riddle, and they did the thing, so weed. So he's staying, right? He was already originally on Raw.
Yeah.
He will no longer be pit against Solo, right? After Backlash. When all these changes.
Yeah. SmackDown has
that kind of
Solo.
Ends anything going on there.
I'm just remembering the thing from the
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Owens. We'll talk about that. But.
So that's interesting, where they're kind of shifting all of these feuds that were going on with the Bloodline, and now they're all on opposite brands.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's. Triple H said it would change the game, and we'll see. We'll see exactly how much is going to change things. SmackDown was the next pick. They picked Bobby Lashley.
Right, that potential opponent for Roman, but they'll probably let Roman just steamroll him because he's got a reigning champion. But that's good for Bobby, right? He deserves some.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley is good. He puts in work. I think he deserves more spotlight. So, even if he loses, which. Unfortunate. But even if he loses, going up against Roman Reigns means something. Yep. It does. So that's good for him. Raw picked Drew McIntyre.
Yes, which gives him also potential to
have a better pick.
Belt.
Yeah, better pick for that world heavyweight, in my opinion, than Cody Rhodes would be.
He did a lot for WWE during the pandemic, and that's when he kind of had a nice title run, but obviously it wasn't in front of an audience. Yeah. So, and he's been all over the place since he lost the title, so it's just kind of maybe an opportunity for him to have some opportunities again that aren't Roman Reigns not giving up the belt, so...
Yeah. Next up, SmackDown. The next pick was the OC, so that's AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Michin.
Yes, and they... came out, and AJ Styles is back.
Yeah.
Thought maybe he wasn't going to do anything because he kind of just had the Viking Raiders have come out.
Yeah, Viking Raiders came out to challenge him.
And he kind of just sat back and had his team attack, and then he did do a little something.
Yeah.
So,
as they were leaving, one of the Raiders was getting back up. I missed who it was. And he kind of turns back around, and he does a top rope forearm club.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Hopefully he'll be back in action.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of top rope, that superplex by LA Knight from the top rope on Butch, that was sick. Just a quick little mention to that.
And he
won. Thank God. Yeah, I gotta mention that.
I missed it. I was petting the cat, and then all of a sudden we're commercial break, and then we come back, and it's we've moved on, and I was like, wait, LA Knight won, and I wasn't paying. I was waiting. I was like, oh, he's got to get a win, and then the cat distracted me. So sorry.
Next pick by Raw was The Miz, which surprised me wasn't a first round pick. If I'm being honest, no, that's great. I'm glad to see him so high up there. Right? I mean, he was still picked by Raw on night 1, not sent to the SmackDown lowdown.
Yeah,
like
we're forced to become like a free agent floating around.
Yeah, so I'm glad. I love The Miz. He's great. Next pick, SmackDown took all of Damage Control.
Very big surprise because everyone kind of wants them to split up. Curious what they're going to do. So they're switching from Raw to SmackDown. That does bring Bayley back with Michael Cole, and they have like a little history.
Yeah.
Bayley hates him. So that might bring some humor and things, and nice little fun segments. But interesting that they're keeping them together. I know Bayley asked Adam Pearce, to keep them together, but
still, they haven't really done much lately.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're maybe trying to build up, like they didn't want to just break them up and have it kind of dissolve without,
right?
Because
I guess they could break them up now and make a story out of it.
Making little breadcrumbs, right, to do something.
That makes sense.
Maybe the potential is there, and then that also keeps Io with Bianca. So
yeah, so we've got potential for stuff there, so that's good. Next up, Raw is picking Shinsuke Nakamura, my boy
from SmackDown.
So I'm good with that. Put him on the 3-hour show. That gives you more chances to use him. He's great. I missed him. He did get attacked.
Yes,
got attacked by
interview.
Karrion Kross. Fucking creepy dude. I'm sorry, creepy. Like
I totally forgot that was a thing
know. He's so
already, and then I was like, why is he?
TikTok.
Yeah. So I guess they're planning to continue that.
Yeah, who knows?
Hope that they end it soon.
Yeah. Yeah, Karrion Kross. And what's her name? Scarlett. But then SmackDown drafted Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and I'm super about that. They're great. I'm excited. I want to see them more, so I'm super glad. I hope that they can keep up their dynamic and
very exciting. And then they got challenged by 2 people I don't know.
Yeah, people on Twitter knew who they were, but obviously
we haven't really seen them since we've started watching, so they weren't familiar to me. It'll be interesting to see if they let them give up the belts.
KC, I think one of them was named, but I don't know. Right, because they're champions right now. They're the tag team women's champion.
They take it up with them and make people come up to SmackDown to fight them.
I mean, that would be good for the NXT people at least. But and then the final pick last night was Raw picked Indy Hartwell, which was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean,
not gonna lie, no hate against her or anything. I think she's obviously she's good and she's got potential, but something about her doesn't quite feel like she's ready.
She needs to develop a character. I think that's like her thing is just kind of like, I'm the underdog and I'm nice, right? Like, and
I'm the NXT girl.
And that's like, Roxanne Perez, right? She doesn't really have a character either. Her character is just like, I'm really nice. Yeah. And it's like, that doesn't work on main roster, right? That might work for a bit in NXT.
What are you? Who are you?
So curious what they'll do with Indy, right? I think, she is talented. She obviously really dedicated to the business.
Sure,
coming back
absolutely.
Out after an injury to try and finish the match.
Yep.
But I'm curious what they're going to do with her.
Yeah, I mean, she's got to be more than just, I'm the nice girl, and also people underestimate me.
And maybe that'll be a thing, right? Like, maybe they'll make that, like, where the women are kind of, like, challenging her, like, you've got to be something here.
I need a win. Let me go against Indy.
You can't just be, and then maybe that's why they're making her this beatable champion to try and do something.
They'll probably also, because, like, her thing was indie wrestling.
Yeah.
They're probably going to keep calling her that derogatory, though. Like, oh, it's indie wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, you're on WWE now. You can't keep up this indie wrestling.
Listen, sweaty.
Yeah. So, okay. And so then we had some other stuff. So this is what Raw picked.
These were off TV announcements for the rest of night 1.
Okay. So Raw got the Viking Raiders. Cool. And Valhalla.
Which it seemed like I thought they drafted them together, but like I kept seeing people saying that they drafted them separately, which doesn't make sense. I'm pretty sure they were available all as 3.
Yeah. Candice LeRae, Dexter Lumis, Maximum Male Models with Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Chelsea Green, and Sonya Deville. Then from NXT they took up Apollo Crews.
Backup.
Yeah. Ugh. Apollo Crews came back from NXT, Zoe Stark, and JD McDonough.
Yep. her, I don't like Zoe because obviously she's a heel, so she just rose through the wrong way on what I've seen from NXT. But great physique, very good wrestler. Curious again how she'll fit in with the roster and what they'll do there. I was wondering if they were gonna just immediately have her start feuding with Indy, but
very possible.
That also then limits what they're
doing.
Yeah,
I think they should. It'd be fine to have backstage segments of them kind of like bumping into one another, but like I think that they should give them wider opportunities to really kind of feel it out and see how they'll do. Give them like the opportunity to see where they can fit in the brand.
Yeah.
But JD McDonough seemed good too, so that'll be cool. SmackDown got Hit Row and Lacey Evans.
Gonna be honest, I have no idea who's part of Hit Row.
Yeah, me either.
I forgot to look that up.
I still don't
right now,
but all right, let's see.
Yeah, and then so Lacey Evans is what I believe everyone keeps saying that Zoe Stark is a better Lacey Evans. So whatever they were trying to do with Lacey Evans' character kind of fell flat, and like
Zoe... that's right. I did look this up. It's 3 people who I don't know: Ashante, The Adonis, Top Dollar, and B Fab.
Oh, I did. I kept having people say something about Top Dollar last night. So,
he was a former football player. Top Top Dollar. So Brianna Brandy is B Fab. So all right. Anyway, I don't know who any of those are, but they got.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. They got drafted to SmackDown.
Again, we started watching after WrestleMania, and we've seen the same wrestlers wrestle over and over again. So, it'll be nice to.
Yeah, I want more people. I want to know more people.
It'll be nice to see. It's a good time. I think it'll shake stuff up a lot. And
to be clear, us not knowing who a wrestler is does not actually mean anything about that wrestler.
Yeah, just means they haven't really been around, or they're not like somebody super notable.
Right.
Like Cody Rhodes.
Right. Like I know the Miz because he's the Miz. Yeah. I know people like that. Like, but if they didn't wrestle between WrestleMania and now, I probably don't know who they are. If they're not famous.
And then they announced some free agents. So Omos, which a lot of people were curious why he wasn't being drafted, and then apparently MVP lobbied for him to be a free agent so he can just appear on any brand at any time. And I do think that just helps. They really need to do something with his character.
Yeah.
It might help them figure something out by not just putting him on one brand.
It lets him beat everybody in WWE.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, he's going to fight Seth Rollins at Backlash, random match that got announced. So we'll see what Omos does with that. Omos. Well, it's almost Sapien, so I always start to say like Omos, and then I'm like, wait, it's Omos.
Mustafa Ali.
So that's interesting. But again, someone who kind of has been lost a bit, so maybe that gives him some more opportunities. Dolph Ziggler, also someone who's been lost.
Yeah. Von Wagner from NXT was also brought up as a free agent.
Okay. So we've seen him
times
now.
So, and that's it. That's all the draft picks from night one / day one.
So excited to see Raw for night 2 and.
Yes, very excited.
Still got like Rhea, Seth Rollins,
plenty of big names up there. Still.
Lots of people. The Usos, right? Which we should touch.
We will touch on that. Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, that's pretty much next. We're coming up on the end here of things to talk about anyway, so this is good timing. Main event for SmackDown was Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It was a title match.
Yes, for the belts.
And leading up to it, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa seem to basically be saying that Roman Reigns wants Solo to take out the Usos. It was my understanding.
Yeah, they weren't saying it outright. They were just saying like, it's. They also had said like, oh, it's his night, and so basically it was just alluding to and outright said, right, Roman will not accept failure.
Yeah.
You need to do this.
Yep.
And Paul Heyman and Solo were behind Jay and Jimmy, who were on a couch. And so, first of all, Paul in the beginning was like weird angle into the camera where he was just looking downright demonic. It was creeping me out a little bit. Just awkward. So, he's kind of going in, and then, Jimmy and Jay are talking themselves up, and Solo does not have his thumb wrapped. And then Paul kind of hints to him, like, this is the night to finally take him out and end the problem, right? And all of a sudden, it seems very very
he also
obvious.
hands them tape.
He hands them the tape, and it seems very obvious that they are discussing. It seemed most likely it was probably Jay, because Jay is the one who's breaking. So Jimmy is still happy, excited, thinking that they're talking about.
Every time they talk about it, Jimmy looks happy and
like, oh yeah, we're gonna end Sammy
and Jay always looks like he's contemplative. He's always thinking.
Jay is like nervous.
Yeah.
Right, and then
and he seems like he's facing the reality that if they don't win, Roman is gonna cut him off.
And then they also had a little promo and got into it with Sammy and Kevin, where again, they were alluding. They're both arguing back and forth. Your Roman's gonna turn on you basically, and then Kevin's gonna turn on Sammy. So match happens. Not really looking great for the Usos.
Yeah.
Solo starts coming out, but then freaking Matt Riddle plows him right off the outside.
Takes Solo out of the picture.
So Kevin Owens takes 37 freaking super kicks
to the face. Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like, I get it.
That's their one move. It's the only move that the Usos are allowed to use.
Then the match dissolves into all we do is super kick.
Yeah, it's like and they even memed on it. Like, I'm gonna super kick him in the head. Then you're gonna super. Then we're both gonna super kick him.
And I get it, but like, one, we did that at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Two, do something else, right? Because then it looks like their only move is super kick.
It doesn't look
and
good
then the
them.
one and done.
Yeah.
Right, and it starts to get like dumb, and also it takes away from the super kick's power when you do 27 of them to Kevin Owens, and then suddenly he keeps kicking out, and then at the final turn he kicks out completely and can get up. Yeah. Like, then what?
Although he clearly went beast mode. He went sicko mode.
He did go beast mode. So I'll give him the pass.
Down again.
Yeah.
But then they won. I mean, Sammy gets up from the side of the ring. He pulls the feet.
Yeah, they were about to do the one and done
from one of them, and then Kevin Owens. I mean, he
takes a stunner, and
he hit him with a stunner.
Jimmy lost. Jay was on the outside of the ring, so Jimmy took a stunner. And then they show Solo like mid-audience.
Yeah, like kind of just staring out.
And they zoom in on like Jimmy's, Jay's very worried face, and then that was it. And
that was it.
Oh, I was so annoyed because we were building up to it, and it's just so slow. Like, let Solo freaking Samoan spike Jay for the first. Like, we know it's gonna happen. Just do it. So I don't know how much maybe they planned on doing something at Backlash. I don't know, right? Like, but just make it happen. So a lot of people are guessing that since nothing like that happened, they hinted at it, but like that's what everyone's expecting, that Paul Heyman is going to do something to make sure that Jimmy and Jay get drafted to Raw. And then that's kind of like their punishment, and now they're no longer on the island of relevancy, right?
They're in the ocean of obscurity.
Yeah, over at Raw. So we'll see what happens Monday.
Yeah, we'll see about that, yeah. I did love, during the SmackDown Lowdown, we'll talk about this now, there was a segment where they were interviewing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Kevin had, it was beautiful. And you know why it was so beautiful? Because it was like looking in a mirror.
It did remind me of you.
It was like looking in a mirror when, I forgot, I don't even remember how it started, what triggered him, but he was going off about Solo Sikoa, and about how Solo Sikoa is never alone. He's never solo. So why is he solo? And then he just went on this tirade of that, and it was so goddamn funny, and it really did. It reminded me of me.
Yeah. It was pretty. It like went on for way longer than I thought, and I was just like, is he just like dragging this out and they don't know what to do and they don't want to cut away yet? Because it was pretty funny. Even Sammy was kind of like,
and then we'll talk about it on the way home. He's like, no, you won't, because I'm driving solo.
Yeah, and then Sammy's like, no, we're driving together. Then he's like, let's go, and he shoves Sammy over like this way, and then he's like, oh, it's over this way. And Sammy's like, then why'd you push me over here?
It was actually comedy gold.
It was just like a disaster, but hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what the heck was going on. Kevin's just screaming about how his name can't be Solo because he's never alone. Like,
that was so good.
It was good. I didn't know it wasn't that long. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Lowdown was like 30 minutes. Yeah. It was fun.
And they had, they do interviews, right? So they interviewed Rhea about, fighting Zelina.
Yeah.
Who just won.
Cannot wait for Zelina. In this house, we stand Zelina. Queen Zelina.
Weeb.
Yes.
Queen Weeb.
I love her outfits, her style, her aesthetic, all excellent. Her physique, excellent.
Tiny.
Yeah.
So we'll see how she stacks up against Rhea. Obviously, I don't expect
Rhea Bloody Ripley.
I don't expect.
I was in my mind. I was waiting to go no. That's what it was. That's all I really wanted to say was oh no. But and then that obviously doesn't come in Rhea Bloody Ripley. So that kind of
yeah. So we'll see. You know, Selena's gonna have to do a lot of flippy shit, right? Like
so many Australians start talking shit with me on the internet the last few days, just coincidentally, and every time I literally want to be like, oh no, the Australians are coming at me.
You gotta spell like N-A-U-R.
N-A. Oh yeah, that's a good way to do it. I've just been doing N-O-R.
No,
but yeah, I like that better. No hate against Australians, but the shit talking ones, obviously.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, got one more week leading up to Backlash, so you know, probably hopefully another boring.
Yeah, this week I'm not expecting to be crazy. Yeah, Monday night will be interesting with the draft picks. Tuesday might be interesting as well with the aftermath of the draft.
Yeah.
I don't expect Friday to be particularly interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what they're gonna wind up doing on SmackDown.
But I'm hoping that I can get my brothers over here for Backlash.
Like Riley can. He already told you. He's got work.
He's done with work well before. He'll be done by like 3 p.m.
He's got to take a nap.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to tell him. But we'll see. But I want to get my brothers into this, but we'll see. I also mentioned it to Julian because Julian actually likes wrestling, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's the week. Again, nothing kind of crazy. 45 minutes pretty much on the dot. That's not bad. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. We're gonna, obviously social media as always, Discord links and all that good stuff in the YouTube channel. But